Good morning. Thank you for joining me for my daily Come Follow Me study of the Book of Mormon. My back isn't 100% yet. I just tried to sit. Not going to happen this morning. I need to do stretches before I get on camera, but I'm running a little bit behind. So I'll do the stretches in a minute, but today is Monday the 12th. And we're going to start with a daily reflection on the Book of Mormon. Aaron did expound unto him the scriptures from the creation of Adam, laying the fall of man before him, and their carnal state, and also the plan of redemption, which was prepared from the foundation of the world, through Christ, for all whosoever would believe on his name. Alma chapter 22, verse 13. It is given to only a few to have the kind of lasting influence on human souls that the sons of Mosiah had during their 14-year ministry. Why were they so successful? Was it their attitude? Was it what they had been taught by their parents? Was it the fear they felt whenever they recalled the stunning visitation of an angel, stopping them in their tracks? All of these may have played a role in preparing them to make such a significant contribution, but their effectiveness lay largely in their love for the Holy Scriptures. When they taught, they read and quoted and paraphrased Holy Writ. They taught the great plan of redemption, the creation, the fall, and the atonement, and they did so with power and authority from God. They read and expounded upon the Scriptures, the central message of which was that redemption was in Christ. All right. Today is Alma chapter 43, and we are getting into the war chapters. So, I feel we're going to have a little bit of trouble finding trust verses, but I found one for today. So in chapter 43, Alma and his sons preach the word. The Zoramites and other Nephites, dissenters, become Lamanites. The Lamanites come against the Nephites to war. Moroni arms the Nephites. The Lord reveals to Alma the strategy of the Lamanites. The Nephites defend their homes. The armies of Moroni and Lehi surround the Lamanites. So, we're just jumping straight into it. Mormon, who is compiling the record, he says, I'm going to not talk about the preaching of Alma and his sons anymore. We're just going to jump straight into the wars. We're going to talk about the wars for a while, and that's what we do. But the trust verse that I found was verse 23. But it came to pass, as soon as they had departed into the wilderness, Moroni sent spies into the wilderness to watch their camp, the Lamanites. And Moroni, also knowing of the prophecies of Alma, sent certain men unto him, desiring him that he should inquire of the Lord whether the armies of the Nephites should go to defend themselves against the Lamanites. For this, I just said, trust the prophets of the Lord. Moroni could have been like, all right, I'm a great war hero. I know what I can do and what I should do. I know the capabilities of my armies, and we can go into the wilderness and we can destroy them easy peasy. But what he does instead is he sends men to Alma, the prophet of the Lord, and says, hey, what do you think we should do? What does the Lord think we should do? Should we go against them or should we not? And he does exactly what Alma tells him to do in that situation. So that's my trust verse. He trusted Alma more than he trusted himself. Okay. Let's see. It was a long chapter, but it was about war, so... talk a little bit about the war. The design of the Nephites was to support their lands and their houses and their wives and their children, that they might preserve their rights and their privileges and also their liberty. War is the result of wickedness. This was the case premortally in the war in heaven. Satan and his followers rebelled against God and followed their own will, contrary to Heavenly Father's plan of happiness, which was based on freedom of choice and righteousness. On earth there is opposition in all things, with trials and tribulations of life that do not always result in full-scale war and the shedding of blood. However, when people ripen in iniquity, there will always be wars fought out of greed and the lust of power. The Nephites go to war to protect their families and their liberties. The wars described in the Book of Mormon are manifestations of the patterns of wickedness among men. When we become full in iniquity and all manner of evil, we become subject to the devil, who seeks to make all mankind miserable like unto himself. We become vain, ambitious, greedy, contentious, proud, and committed to seek power at every opportunity. This leads to contention, mayhem, and bloodshed. Yes, my love. What time is it? 6:40. We can totally see this in the world today. Absolutely, 100%. Okay. The mission of freedom. President Ezra Taft Benson also offers this insight regarding the inalienable rights of men to defend their freedoms. While attending the Fairfax Christian School in Virginia, my grandson, Ezra Taft, was introduced to the historical character Israel Putnam. Israel Putnam was one of the Revolutionary War farmers who left his plow in the field and gave up his comfort in order to protect his family, defend his inalienable, God-given rights, and help establish this great free country. It is heartening to know that today there are still those who answer to the rallying cry of God, family, and country. Recently, it was my privilege to walk across a part of that sacred soil where some of the best blood of Israel Putnam's generation was shed for freedom and the redemption of this land. Those noble souls did not initiate freedom, and one of the privileges of mortal life is the opportunity to rise in freedom's defense during the time when Lucifer is permitted to tempt and test men with the satanic schemes of slavery. This is part of our mission today. The same sun that shone on Israel Putnam during his mortal probation shines on us, and the same issues of light and darkness, force and freedom, right and wrong, that provided men a chance to prove themselves in this day continue to shift the souls of men today. All right, a final note on war. President Spencer W. Kimball shares this thought-provoking commentary about the destructiveness of war for both the victor and the vanquished. Great cultures stagnate in war shadows and cease to survive when continuous war makes people migrate, and when fields are abandoned and livestock is appropriated for non-producing soldiers, when in wartime forests are destroyed without replanting and farmers and builders become warriors. Men cannot plant, cultivate, and harvest when in camps, nor build when on the run. Long and bloody wars mean sacked, burned, ruined cities, confiscatory taxes, degenerated people, and decayed cultures. Victory and defeat alike leave countries devastated and the conquered reduced. Wickedness brings war, and war vomits destruction and suffering. hate, and bloodshed upon the guilty and the innocent alike. This book, the Book of Mormon, should convince of the futility of war and the hazard of unrighteousness. A few prophets swimming in the sea of barbarism find it difficult to prevent the crumbling and final collapse of corrupt peoples. There is a great but conditional promise, and this land shall be a land of liberty unto the Gentiles, and there shall be no kings upon the land. And I will fortify this land against all other nations. I, the Lord, the King of heaven, will be their king, and I will be the light unto them forever that hear my words. I can't not see war in the future with the way that Satan has a hold on people's hearts in this country and all over the world. I can't not see war in the future. Considering that there's 2 wars going on right now that I know of, and I don't pay attention to politics, I can't not see. All right. Today is Monday the 12th. It's day 225. God Sets the Conditions by Gerald N. Lund. How revelation is given is completely the Lord's prerogative. We don't get to decide whether we will have an angel appear or receive instructions through the still small voice. The Lord chooses. The revelation may come in an audible voice, a dream, or through a sudden flash of insight as we read the scriptures. Revelation is not a menu from which we get to select what items we find most appealing. This can be a great test of our faith. For example, a woman bears a testimony on Fast Sunday of a remarkable way in which the Lord answered her prayers. Someone in the audience may have been searching for months for a similar answer and has received nothing. Another example is seen in healings. Why does one person see a miraculous healing after a priesthood blessing, while someone of equal worthiness and faith receives a blessing and no deliverance from suffering comes? Those kinds of circumstances are commonly seen and are part of life. Again and again, there is only one answer. God sets all of the conditions for the giving of revelation, and we must learn to trust His wisdom and timing. This is at the very heart of learning to develop faith, or, as the Lord said to Abraham, to see how we will respond as He proves us. In this process, we must take care that we don't compare ourselves to others and conclude that we are more or less righteous and faithful than someone else because of what has happened to us. Okay. That was Alma chapter 43. Tomorrow we do Alma chapter 44 and 45. So lots of reading this week, lots of reading next week. We are getting through Alma in these 2 weeks. We have, 20 chapters to get through? Nope. Yeah, about 20 chapters to get through. So we are getting through Alma this week and next week. We're going to be done with it. So lots of reading. And then I've got to go to work today. No, Hannah's farewell. She was set apart last night. She's so happy to be a missionary. She's so excited. And we'll see how our home is blessed by it. Let's see if I'm less contentious. We'll see. Okay. I think that's all. It was a good day yesterday. She did a good job on her talk. People just were like praising her to the moon. They love her. All that stuff. And that's all. Yeah, that's all. So, that's Monday. Have a great day. Nope. Read it, do it. Almost forgot. Okay, read it, do it. Today is the 12th. Alma chapter 43. They highlight verse 45. The Lamanites fought hard, with more strength and courage than they had ever exhibited. But the Nephites fought harder because they were inspired by a better cause. They fought for their homes and liberties, their wives and children, their right to worship. Find your cause. I enjoy that one. I enjoy that one quite a bit. That one gets a tabby. There we go. Okay. That's all. Love you all. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.